Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
All right, folks. So, and I love how we just have holidays whenever these come out. But apparently, West Hollywood is having Pride. It is Pride spring to summer, Pride rainbows every which way. So we decided to celebrate with our looks of being as rainbow as possible.
Which is not very rainbow, but is definitely colorful. We'll say that.
Technically speaking, we are covering two parts of Pride colors.
Between the two of us, we've got most of it covered.
We got blue over here. We got pink over here. I was like, I want to be gay baby spice. Like we wanted the rainbow as much as possible. So I'll tell you what I want. I can't even say that with a straight face. But yeah.
So go for it.
What I've learned about Pride culture is I feel accepted and whole no matter what I've gone through, no matter who's been in my life, no matter of my gender orientation, no matter of my
relationship orientation,
right, sexual orientation, whatnot. No matter what, there's a respect, there's an appreciation, and there's also just this level of pure acceptance of who you are. And I wanted to celebrate that as we talk about these fascinating questions. Because Katie and I were talking about last week on the last episode how we're going to dive into our dating lives, breakups, etc. We gave some tips on how to go through breakups, really go through a breakup. I'm not saying, just go through a breakup and then distract yourselves and just hold that sadness for the next 20 years of your life. No, not that.
Yeah, no, not that.
And pretend like you're okay, because that's not what we want. But really understanding how to build yourself up, go through the emotions in a way that's healthy, and finding the right support.
Agreed.
Yes, you can see that in our next episode. But on this episode, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna dive into, what is it, the 2,500 some odd questions?
Okay, this particular one is just 29 questions that is recommended to help you heal after a breakup. These are the questions they recommend that you ask your ex.
I see. And with that being said, folks, we're going to protect my exes and ourselves.
And ourselves.
And not saying who they are.
No names.
No names. But we're all going to put them, my ex's name, the cumulative characteristics of all of them. His name is Blob. Or I'm sorry, their name is Blob, because there's a few other genders in there. Their name is Blob. And because Blob is this amorphous entity of all of my exes, I'm going to answer these questions.
And I just get to ask them.
Because Katie,
I get to pretend to be the ex.
Blob.
The ex Blob.
Blob now. I don't want you to pretend to be my ex. What's a fancy?
Well, I mean, why else would I be asking you these questions?
What's a fancy blue unicorn name that we can use instead?
A blue unicorn name, Sky.
Oh, Sky. Skylar? I've never dated a Skylar. This is perfect.
Okay, so we'll use Skylar.
We're gonna use Skylar.
Yay.
I'm probably gonna switch my pigtails into like something else, but right now it's okay.
Whatever. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
So we're just going to start with number 1.
Okay.
What initially attracted you to Skylar? That's going to be tough because we're lumping all of your exes into one blue unicorn. So yeah. I guess you have to go with generalities.
I'm pansexual.
Me too.
So there's always an energy.
Mm,
Immediate energy is what I'm always attracted to. Is like, why do I know you? Why?
very good. That makes sense.
And that's it, honestly.
Okay. So question number 2 is, what do you think initially attracted Skylar to you?
Katie, you have a better answer than I do. Uh-huh.
Well, okay. If I was answering this, if one of my exes from high school was asking me this question, the only answer that I can come up with is what one of them told me is that I just have a generous heart.
That's kind.
So, but we were friends after we broke up. So these are not questions we ever asked our exes back when I went to school. So, but based on what I've been told by friends, that's one thing that people find, I have been told people have found attractive about me.
I know Katie will give me the honest answer of what people would find attractive about me. Otherwise, I feel like I'm being egotistical. What is it, Katie?
You are not being egotistical, honey. You are very street smart. You are also very wise when it comes to knowing things that nobody else knows. And you do have a fun, playful energy. I mean, why else would you be dressed up as Baby Spice right now?
That's true. Can I share about what I love about my? I don't know if it
Yeah,
counts.
share what you love about yourself. I think that's a great question.
Okay. I love my sincerity.
Mm, yes,
I've been told people can actually immediately trust me the moment they meet me.
that is a very good trait to have.
It is. It also explains the depths of like my own life because somebody who I understand that when people feel that way, it's because that individual has a depth to them that is you can't put your finger on it, and you'll probably find out over time based off of like them sharing their experiences, what they've gone through, whatnot. And that like I love the fact that I do have depth and a lot
Mhm.
more depth than people ever expect. Um, I enjoy it. I like being an unexpected ball of what?
So,
Uh,
if we're continuing with the, oh, you got more?
I got two more, and then
Okay, go.
I think it's healthy to have three, I guess.
Okay.
The second, thank you, mom and dad. I have great genetics.
Yes, we always thank our parents for our genetics.
Yes, thank you, mom and dad. I have a very great physical appearance that I contribute to my ancestors. Very grateful.
Okay.
Third, I don't know if I've ever been told that I've been attracted for this, but what I love is like I do have a strength. Like I don't really accept being defeated.
I would consider and having an inner strength being an attractive quality. Yes.
Yeah. And like it only gets deeper and stronger every year and every time I come through more adversity. But the wonderful thing that I love about that aspect of myself is the fact that I, you just never know where all of the strength comes from. And as it gets deeper and stronger, and like, it's just, I love one catching people off guard going, oh, I did not expect you to come back that hard. And I love that energy of being able to transform any situation into like pure, beautiful value. And that's what I love about me.
I think those are all really good traits.
Thank you. I don't know
So,
about the guys or Skylar. I don't know if Skylar felt the same
well,
way.
if they happen to be listening, they can always send you their answers. We'll just leave it out there
Thank you,
if they
Skylar.
want to. So, next question is, what is your favorite memory of Skylar?
All right.
And can you share it without indicating which of the exes this is?
So let's talk about, I have three. Can I do three? We're going to do
Okay,
three.
you could do three.
I'm going to attribute three. Dinner on the Eiffel Tower.
Ooh, very romantic.
Great job, Skylar. Excellent job, Skylar. That actually, so dinner on top of the Eiffel Tower, thankfully, it's like, folks, it was only I'm not saying, I'm not trying to jib Matt on this, but like, it's only 200 euro. Sometimes you think it's 1,000 euro or whatever. Actually a doable cost that you can do. You just have to book it like 2 months in advance. That's all.
So, all right. So this person is very resourceful.
Very well,
very good trait.
Kind of told him to do it, but yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, next memory.
I'm grateful that we did it together. It was fun. I was really
Very
hungover.
good.
It was probably one of the best meals we could have ever had, but I was so hungover. The scenery was beautiful. It was incredibly romantic. I could not drink any French wine.
Wow.
I was 21.
Hey, you know what? The fact that you even have a fantastic memory when you were 21 that contains alcohol is a good thing, because most of my 21-year-old memories with alcohol, I don't remember.
Oh, Skylar.
We'll just leave that alone. Next memory.
Yes, next memory. Skylar and I. Oh, I really enjoyed this because this showed how secure both of us were. We never cheated on anyone. I've never cheated on anybody, and they haven't either. And Skylar was like, that's rare. Early 20s.
Yep. Good trait.
Incredibly rare. Really rare. Because we were that secure in our relationship, knowing that we were loyal, one of my favorite memories was going to early 20s, was going to a bar. Both of us game planning, knowing that we're both attractive. He went to the female bartender, I went to the male bartender, and we flirted our way with free drinks and came together and drank it together. That was
that just sounds like fun.
It was so much fun. It was so enjoyable. I was like, this is great.
No, I could. Okay, mine's not that good, but I do have one memory of walking on the beach with my significant other at the time. Well, my significant other being my husband. And us checking out women together, making comments as to who looks better in which bikini. And again, it was just one of those fun memories.
Right? It's like, oh, that was so good. I'm trying to like figure out not just that era, because that era was great. Don't get me wrong. It was like the innocent era, everything was cool, not much baggage yet.
Young, yes.
Yeah. Can you throw out like some random thing for the third memory? Just like random thing that I could probably click to that'll help inspire me.
Okay. Another memory I could share is I remember being woken up really early in the morning, told I could stay in my pajamas. I just had to get to the car, and was driven to this little, small, tiny, sleepy town up in the mountains, and was taken to a bed and breakfast and was treated like a princess for the weekend.
Oh, that's sweet.
Until I had to pay the bill.
So I got a two-part for Skylar. So these are two individuals. Now that thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
I remember Skylar and I went to go play pool that night. And then we had some drinks. We did, but it wasn't that bad. At the time, I don't know what it was, but I was just like, I was really lethargic. And I remember waking up pure sleep, not like no fancy funny stuff. I just remember sleeping and then waking up and just slapping my hand. where I was like, what is that? And it's a full tray of breakfast food that was perfectly arranged for me.
Aww.
Flies across the room. And I'm so apologetic. One, I was very grateful for the sincere thought and the kindness and the sweetness.
But you ended up sending the tray of food flying across the room.
I felt so I felt so awful. I felt so in retrospect, I'm like, that is hilarious. I can't believe I did that. And afterwards, yes, I made up for it. I was like, I don't know.
At the time it was devastating, but right now it's one of your favorite memories because it's hysterical.
It's hysterical yet so warm and sweet and kind, right? And it's like one of those moments where you actually have like pure intimacy. And that was pretty amazing. It was just like being able to sit there, talk, and really just like go, I'm so sorry, but then get down to the crux of it,
and still have that deep connection.
and still have that deep connection. All right, yeah, we'll close on that one.
Okay.
Oh, Skylar.
Oh, Skylar. So, okay. The next question on the list is, why did you break up with Skylar?
Should we do the top three?
You could do top three.
Yeah. Actually, the common three. We can do the common three.
Common three? Okay. I can put together my well, okay, if I look at all of my relationships, there's only one common thread actually in mine.
Please.
We just grew apart.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there was anything wrong one way or the other. You know, it wasn't something I did. It wasn't something they did. It's just that we just grew apart. There wasn't a spark.
I understand that. I actually, one, I do have a specific vision for my life that I would love a partner to be with in that specific vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I found out what their specific goals and dreams and visions were, I was like, I'm sorry.
It doesn't align. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Skylar. I really don't want to go to Tennessee and live in a bungalow.
And I really think that that is a conversation that needs to be had early on in a relationship, because aligning goals is very important. And I think that looking back, at least when I did it in high school, if I had asked them, what are your goals after high school? Maybe we wouldn't have grown apart my senior year of high school. You know,
And
could be wrong, but I mean, it's possible because I knew what I thought I wanted at that time. But yeah, again, I was a senior in high school. I don't think I knew what the hell I wanted at that time.
and sometimes it takes time for you to
Yeah.
know and for them to know and then find out. I'm not the type of person who will just straight up tell you what my dream is yet. Because I want to know it's a safe space before, right?
Right. There has to be some trust in everything first before you go and you share your big definite dream
Yeah,
with someone.
yeah, and it's a vulnerable conversation. So like you want to just like wait. And usually by the third month, that's when it really comes out. That's what I've noticed in like my later 20s, early 30s. It comes out within 3 to 4 months.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Only because all
Yeah.
of my dating was high school.
Yeah. And then don't get me wrong, the one the Skylar,
Mm-hmm.
the first Skylar that I came across this with, I was like, okay, no loss. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go be happy. I'll go be happy here. Totally okay. And then the emotional detachment was already ready.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because once I really found out, because I felt here's another thing. One of the Skylar,
Mm-hmm.
Skylar, was scared to be transparent with me at one point. This is really interesting how we're characterizing the Skylar.
Right.
At one point, Skylar was scared to be transparent with me and tell me exactly what he wanted. Because actually, at the time, he was too scared to say that he didn't know what he wanted.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and that's okay. And with that, sometimes people have the patience to be like, okay, yeah, no, I don't either, which is true, right? And then you can kind of do it together if you want to. It's
Or
risky,
at least circle back in a few months or something.
or it's risky. You could do that. You can do
Right.
that. You can explore and figure it out. And then once you decide, and if it's not the same thing, you go. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So when when I was in that same similar space with Skylar at that time, I was like, oh, okay. And then the relationship got to the point where I was like, you're not treating me the way that I deserve. No one should
Right.
be, no person should be treated this way in a relationship where you really actually, if you actually cherish them or actually want to build a very sturdy foundation so that both of you can continue to just like thrive in your lives. Right. So the moment I felt that disconnect, I was like, all my patience dried up. And I kind of went, well, you know, this is actually one of my goals that I know you don't want. So thank you very much. And I want this, and I'm not going to neglect my needs anymore. And I went that direction.
Right.
So
Go ahead.
that was another reason, another
Mm-hmm.
Skylar. The other one was I just got tired of it. That meant I really didn't feel when there was like for the amount of time that we were together, the person didn't really know me, so there wasn't real intimacy. Like they continued to project some type of image of what they thought I was going to become.
Okay.
Right. And I just like didn't care. I was just like, whatever, we're here around, it's fine. Which meant I really didn't like them.
Right.
Ugh!
And it was at that point a what I would call surface level.
Yeah, yeah. And that's from there, that's when you know, like, oh, I just didn't like him enough.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question that's not on this list, which is what is one of the things you are most grateful for from any of past scholars? Something you learned.
Boundaries, lesson one.
I
And
agree. I think boundaries is one of the big ones that I've learned
yeah,
as well.
indirectly taught. uh Realizing my true self-worth. Like in the moments where you know it doesn't feel right of how somebody's treating you and having the
But
strength and like building the strength to really just pull away from that and go for your dreams and your happiness, that built strength, that's something I can be incredibly grateful for.
I can agree with those.
Yeah. Third thing,
I mine were all, well, no, I can't say all of mine were mutual because I did have that one breakup in high school that was not mutual. But that one was because it was it was an unsafe, unhealthy relationship. I physically did not feel safe in that relationship, and I left. And what I'm grateful for in that relationship was the fact that I learned what I will and will not accept, how I will be treated by other people.
Excellent. Beautiful. That's great.
So I never thought I'd be grateful for something out of that relationship, but I can honestly say that I am grateful for that because it kind of gave me a benchmark for my boundaries because I really didn't have boundaries before that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, oh, the third thing, how to heal freaking fast. Those
Yes.
relationships all taught me how to like expedite heal. And not like surface level. Oh, I went to a therapist and just talked out
I
the
ate a pint of ice cream. I cried over a good movie. I'm all better now.
no. I mean like we went like I created an accelerating healing program based off of that. Like I really learned how to truly heal, like not dig, but like really see where the wounds are,
Hmm.
where the pieces of glass are stuck, yank them out. This is getting grotesque. And but
That's all metaphorical. That's not real.
not yet. And literally scan the area for any infections, clear it out with any energetic antibiotics, and really give it the space and time to recover.
So, what you as Ace, what would you do differently in your next relationship after Skylar?
Great question. Well, right now, I think I'm going to heal to a cellular level where I'm just oozing out love. Like that's that sounds gross, but yeah, I really want to focus on like really in not intensive healing, but like there is a I want to give myself the appropriate time till fall to
Right.
it's spring. You can give me like a good 4 to 6 months to like go through the emotions, really heal, and actually get myself to the frequency and energetic level where I feel like just essence of love so I can attract the right person or manifest the right person. The
It's
second
good awareness.
good awareness. Second thing, be really, 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 really me.
Yeah. No masks.
No masks. Cause like I don't want to be with somebody where I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Right. I and I will not take disrespect or air quotes rudeness. I won't. Because the thing is, if you're punching down in a relationship, don't get me wrong, everyone gets hurt in relationships, yes.
Right.
But I want to be able to see that this person is a good father for a child,
Makes
or
sense.
it depends, whichever gender we're going with here. This person is a good parent for a child.
Okay.
Uh, this person is equally reciprocally nourishing and provides a safe environment for growth. Definitely picking somebody more compatible.
And that I think is part of the awareness that we gain through this whole trial and error of relationships.
Yeah, I've learned what's not compatible.
Yeah, I understand.
One of the biggest lessons is like you don't want to be in a relationship where you feel like you're caged in ever.
Well, yes, and I agree with that. And one of the things that I know that even just in friendships, using friendship relationships moving forward, um, one of the things that I know that I have learned is I'm going to stop being a people pleaser because I know that in high school and in friendships since then that it's been very I thought I had to act a certain way or do certain things to have people like me or love me. And no more. So next relationship, whether it be friendship or whatever, because you can have a love relationship with someone and not be romantically love with them.
Yeah, you just love.
You just love. Um, that is take me as I am. I'm not changing anymore.
I mean, we do change, but yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Well, I'm not changing myself to fit somebody else's mold or expectation.
Right.
That's the clarity I needed to put in there. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. You know, it's funny because like there was a Skylar. There was a point that Skylar
Mm-hmm.
kept trying to put me in this box,
Yeah.
right? Like they're like, this is what it means to love somebody in a relation. This is what this is, and then they were treating me in a way where I was like, you don't have to do this. Would I love it if you open the door for me? Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Would I love it if you see that I'm going through something and you can reciprocally help take care and make sure that, like, let's say I'm holding something and you open the door for me? Thank you. Are we partnered together to really achieve a good livelihood together? Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to look out for
Yeah. And it's one of those that for those of us who have been in what I would call very long relationships, it changes and it changes slowly over time. And in the case, just hypothetically speaking, in the case of opening doors, 24 years of marriage, 50-50. When we were first married, Brian always opened the doors for me. Now, 50-50. Because it's not as important now as it was then.
it's kind.
It
Yes.
is a kindness, but there was a big in the very beginning, there was a big emphasis on that. And part of that is because of the military, Brian being raised in a military household and everything else like that. Men always open the doors for their women.
I actually find it to be a really chivalrous like gesture. I get that sometimes other people like don't do that. I get that. But I honestly think like I do appreciate it. I find it to be very respectful.
Yes, and I appreciate it as well when it is done as a natural act, common courtesy, not a, oh, I have to do this for you, so then that way we can be in a relationship. No, that's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement, and I do not want anyone building resentment because of something that they self-imposed and I didn't need
Exactly.
that. That right there is a killer for all relationships. If you thought you needed to do something and you didn't need to, and then the person doesn't know why you're resenting them because it was so back to the question. Reiterate the question one more time.
What would you do differently in your next relationship? For me, I think it is having these kinds of conversations, like not necessarily these questions, because these are all post-breakup questions, but there are really good questions available as to questions you should have during the first 6 months to a year of your relationship to make sure that you both are going forward on the same path towards your goals, towards your dreams, towards your visions. Having that open communication as to what is important and what is mandatory, what is not mandatory, and what is agreed upon. For example, Brian does the laundry, I do the dishes.
right? Or if you're doing the laundry together, I like actually folding. And then I don't like putting the laundry in the laundry. You can have him.
See, yeah, you can split the chores in the house any way that works best for both of you as long as you talk about it first. So
Over
I
communication and like that. So that's another big thing that I would love to do
yeah,
with a relationship. So essentially, when you're an entrepreneur, these are the conversations you're having anyways, right? You're
but you
trying to
should be having anyways.
please actually have these conversations, otherwise you're gonna fail. So like like I mean, don't get me wrong, you're gonna learn, but still, these are the
Right.
types of conversations of like, how can I best take care of you and myself, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
not overstepping a boundary, where I can still do what I need to do, but we're still taking care of each other because it is a partnership to accomplish these goals, these ideas, the way we want to live our lives, etc. For instance, the laundry one, that's a great
Yep.
one. Or I don't normally like doing the dishes,
Yeah.
but I'll do them when I need to. Um, do I normally like to cook once a week
Yeah. When I'm in the mood.
in a mood? Stuff like that. Like these are the types of things that like how do you get your basic needs met? How can you do it together? Not in a codependent way, but in a way where it's like I can take on these responsibilities for us to live together. I can take on they can take on these responsibilities where it's equal share and we don't feel like we're like feuding about something that's like so simple.
Right.
And we don't
Sorry.
even have to live together. We can even talk about like, oh, I got to get here. We got to get there. We have to go to this event together. In the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to coordinating dates,
Mm-hmm.
biggest, best way to impress me on any date, you planned everything in advance. I don't know what's going on, which is hard because I'm pretty intuitively psychic. I have no idea what's going on. And there's amazing food.
Yeah, you are a foodie.
One of the best dates I've ever been on, not only the Eiffel Tower, but this one guy. I'm sorry, this one Skylar. Skylar. Skylar.
Skylar.
Skylar called from his work office. And I didn't understand the leverage that that work office had, but it had pretty big,
Lots of leverage.
yeah, it had a very strong reputation. We were getting like to the nines treatment on the way up to this restaurant on top of a building in New York City where I got to see both the Chrysler building and the Empire State Building on this beautiful rooftop restaurant.
Oh
Amazing.
wow.
Yes, sitting there, I'm still kind of confused. I'm like, what the heck is going on? What's happening? And then the person tells me where he works. Skylar.
Where Skylar works. Yes.
Skylar works. And thankfully I had my thankfully at the time when I heard it, it wasn't that I wasn't not impressed, but I was like, I had a pretty good position as well. So it was just one of those situations where I was like, oh, I feel like we're equally yoked in that
Mm-hmm.
essence.
But still, I agree. I think having the whoever your partner is do something to surprise you in that case with taking care of all the details so you have absolutely no idea what's going on is absolutely fantastic. With the caveat, tell me to block off my calendar on that day so then that way nothing comes up and tells me I can't go.
Yeah, tell me 3 months in advance, please.
Yes.
Tell me 3 months, a month and a half. Do not tell me that week.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Do not tell me the day before.
Do not tell me
Give me time because mama's working.
definitely not the day off. No, unless you worked it out with my, I don't know if you could work it out with my work schedule. Do not. Like, right? If you, oh my goodness, if you go to my father and my mother and my sisters, one, you got courage. Two,
Yes.
that would highly impress me. Anyways, please continue. Next questions.
Okay, so the next question is how long did you wait until you got together with someone else after the breakup?
That's an individual question.
Yeah, that's an individual question because okay, I will share with this my shortest relationship was 15 minutes
All right, that was cute. Yes.
because I was asked out and then was told that the reason I was asked out was so that they could get closer to my best friend at the time. Then they asked her out and then dumped me. So that is the shortest relationship I'd ever had.
Skylar's just like one giant blob. Let's talk about high school.
Sorry, funny, just funny Katie fact.
That's cute. I'm so sorry.
I'm not, because
You learned.
I learned and he was more of a friend anyways, and I'm not even sure why I said yes in the first place.
All right. Well, I'll give you high school Skylar.
Okay.
High school Skylar and I dated for a year and a half. Then high school Skylar's best friend. I remember asking high school Skylar's best friend, "Are you sure you want to do this?" You know, Skylar too.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "All's fair in love and war."
Ooh.
And I was in that relationship for 2.5 years with Skylar too.
But is Skylar 2 and Skylar 1 still friends after that?
They are now.
They are now.
Next question, please. And I know we're coming up on something.
We are.
Healing.
Okay, so next question would be, can you remember our biggest argument besides the breakup?
Okay, there was one of my favorite fights that I really
A favorite fight? Okay.
Yeah, because it was healthy.
Okay.
So essentially, Skylar was being a little neglectful.
Okay.
And it's funny because which Skylar is this? No one will know. It's beautiful.
No one will know.
No one will know. So this Skylar was being a little neglectful, and I remember just stopping because I was giving, and take it for granted, right? And I remember going on the phone call, and I don't normally just not say anything. I just keep talking, whatever.
Right.
Individual.
You normally keep up the flow of the conversation.
And I lost all gas and went, I've never heard somebody so quickly on the phone go, "What are your needs? I like, what do you need right now? I'm sorry." Blah, 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 blah.
Wow, that is attentive.
Honestly, okay, maybe this happened to two Skylars, but Skylar, the moment that happened, because it was it's a difference in energy. I'm usually like bubbly, happy. The moment I lost gas, this individual literally went, "Oh," and they recognized and owned what they did. And I was like, "I appreciate that. Thank you." And it actually was the start to growing together, where we would communicate, "This isn't cool. This is all right. We could do this. I don't want to do this. We could do that." Blah, blah, blah.
So it turned out to be a positive turning point.
Yeah, fights are meant to actually be that.
Positive turning points?
Yeah, always, because the arguments are important. Being able to challenge those relationships. Don't get me wrong, fights in a sense where you're disrespecting each other and throwing things at each other. That's not what I'm saying. Talking about a really carefully, because you still care about the individual,
Right.
have a sense of rhetoric to really express what you need from your partner in order to have a more harmonious environment or safe environment. Like that, feeling like you're actually being supported with each other. Those are my, like, those are the only times I pick fights, is when I'm like, "Yo, yeah, fix something here because I don't feel safe."
Right.
And it's not, I'm manipulating you so that you can feel safe, that I will feel safe and you don't. That's not how that works.
Right. It's a place to where you both are on equal footing.
Exactly, because something's up and that needs to be addressed.
So there's one question left that I think is relevant.
Okay.
Which you might have to answer instead of me. What did your parents really think of me? Okay, another timestamp. Great face. See, I can't ask that of any of my high school boyfriends because they were all high school boyfriends and none of our parents took any of our relationships serious back then.
Can I give you my favorite comments?
Oh, yes, please do.
We didn't like him anyways. That one, I was like, oh, and that's from my mother.
Oh, that's what your mother said about Skylar. Woo!
Sweetest woman. I went, wow, I've never felt so positively endorsed. And to not continue with that.
Yeah, I think that comment is probably what was on my mom's lips for every single relationship I had in high school. Either that she either A, didn't know I was dating someone, didn't realize I was dating someone, or completely thought they were not worth my time.
My mother said this once and it was really sweet. And I actually really enjoyed this. No one's ever gonna be good enough for your father. Because I'm the baby.
Ooh, yeah.
That I was like, oh, dad cares. This is gonna be interesting. And to be honest, with my parents, like rarely did I ever bring anybody home until I actually felt like that. I was like, I'm gonna marry this person.
Yeah. And until I got to that certain level.
Well, one of them, they literally like
Putting a ring on it counts as a certain level as to when you have to meet the parents.
it did. And then after that, like I just couldn't trust that individual or that Skylar anymore because there was something about it where I was like, you know what? It's okay.
It's okay. And to all of the Skylars out there, it's okay.
Hey, it's okay. I hope you're happy. Please find love.
Yep. Please find love. Please find the right person for you, even if it is not me.
Let it be Kate. I'm just kidding. So no, I feel like we have to end on a really deep closing one. Like there is one that you did say, and I was like, ooh.
Did you ever really love me?
So what does define really love?
Put me first. For
Really?
me. For me, because I am such a giving person. I am such a support person. I help so many other people. Occasionally for me, it feels nice to be taken care of.
Okay, so the first question to Skylar, I actually believe they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I loved Skylar. Was I in love with Skylar?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it. Maybe it's been a while since that Skylar was there.
Here's my thought. Because I can say this for other than the one relationship that lasted only 15 minutes, because I don't really count that one as a relationship. But of all the relationships that I've had, while in the relationship, I loved the person. Until we grew apart. It doesn't mean that I love them any less. It just means I'm not actively in love with them now.
See,
They're
yeah,
still great people.
yeah. And was I
So that's why I'm like really torn with this. Did I really love someone? Well, I agree with you. What does really love someone mean?
right? Because like I really did love them. Yes.
Yes.
Was
Well,
I
okay. I had one person that it was purely just lust. I know that much. And that person knows it was purely just lust.
hmm?
And it didn't last long.
Hmm. Yeah. Was I really in love with them? I can't say that.
Well, I'm going to say it with the caveat that at that moment in time, yes. Would that emotion be the exact same now? No, because I'm a completely different person now than I was in high school.
That's a very kind answer.
Because I could not imagine calling up some of these people from high school and asking them to go out on a date now compared to that.
Yeah, I hear you. To be fair, remember how I said there was a Skylar, a time that Skylar, trying so hard to like fit this into one person or one drive. So there was this one time Skylar took me to get rings fitted, right? And I think, to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about it in the essence of love. I thought of it more of like, oh, this is great. It sounds like you're interested in me. That's awesome. It's very sweet.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is really in love, you might have been a 4 or 2.
1.5.
It happens to the best of us.
Well, because I knew I was in the moment, in more of like the high of it. Like I was like, oh, This is great. This is awesome. We get to do this. We get to live in this mini fantasy thing. But like
what I call the bubble.
Exactly. And like really in love, that's not, I know I've gotten close to it. But I haven't been at the 5 with somebody. I know that for sure.
The one thing that I will share about being married for so long is that there are times that there's a 5 and then there are times there's a 1. Because you're not going to get along 100% of the time.
Yes. But what I'm saying also is it's nice that you can go to the 1 to the 5, right? I haven't gotten to the 4, if that makes sense, with somebody. Like I haven't felt Have they ever asked me? No.
I don't know if anyone's ever really asked me that question either, come to think of it.
Yeah. I mean, I could say it to the degree of the 3, maybe a 2. Better a 2. Yeah. 3 was like really pushing it. But when it comes to that level, I honestly think maybe it's me. It's both, right? But that actually I would really want in my next relationship is actually to be at that 5 and know it.
To be at a blissful 5.
I don't know if it's blissful. I feel like when you're in love, like really...
Well, I'm calling it blissful 5 because I have seen couples who what I would be considered that much really in love.
Yeah.
And just the way they communicate, the way they talk to each other, the way they respect each other, the way they have their own language almost. I mean, that is what I would call a blissful 5. Now, again, I know it's not going to be blissful 5 24/7, 365. Because we're humans and we all have emotions that swing one way and another. But I think that getting there is not instantaneous. I think you build to it.
Build. It really is a build. And
I really think it's a build.
Yeah, hence why I can say I've built up to the 2 to the 3 with somebody, but I haven't gone to the 4 to the 5.
We're all learning.
We are, and I'm grateful that now that's the new standard, folks.
So on that blissful note, thank you everyone for being a part of this episode of Touched and Empowered. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.